Oh, that's not good. We're gonna give it 30 seconds this time. So the last time I was looking at the video and I give it a few seconds and it was like, no, we're not ready yet. So let's get the live chat on. Let's get started today. Ooh. So today, we were live yesterday. Hi, Cultivators. It's Angelina. We were live yesterday and we planted some seeds. We checked in our nursery and we harvested our peppers. But like today, it's a night, long day. So we are going to store our peppers. We had a couple of things that we did that we didn't get to. So let's get started. Hi, cultivators. It's Angeline. Welcome to today's live. We're going to be doing two things today on our agenda. I'm trying to avoid those stuff. Two things on our agenda. First, we're going to take a closer look at our lemon balm. And we are going to put it to dry. So we have our lemon balm. We're going to harvest it now. We were going to harvest it. So we're going to be harvesting it today and setting it to dry with some other plants that we have drying. And we're going to be pickling our peppers. So with the lemon balm, I'll tell you the best time to harvest it, different ways to dry it. I'm going to be using one method, but I'll tell you about a couple other ones and how we're going to store it and use it later. So we are going to go over that. Then we're going to do the peppers. We're going to be pickling the peppers, and a good way to pickle, or easy way to pickle our peppers so that we can use them in the future, and some tips and tricks on pickling our peppers. Wow. Peter, and if you're enjoying this and you want some more behind the scenes, don't forget to join the cultivators at patreon.com/Angeline Verdon. And we are not going to let any of our harvest go to waste this time. Today's a good day to garden. Let's get started. So as usual, let's get you guys in the tripod. So before we go to our garden, as always, we are going to check to see what is happening in our nursery. Because yesterday when we checked in our nursery, it didn't look like this. Our nursery, we had a few sprouting, but now we have a lot more sprouting. So let's go just take a quick look and see what's going on really quick before we get started with our pickling and everything. Um, let me just check to make sure everything's coming through nicely on the other end, and let's go because we had a few hiccups at the beginning. All right, so our cucumbers are growing. Tomorrow I'm gonna put it directly in the garden. Well, usually let them go. They're truly. It's growing really big. Oh wow, the roots are more than the roots didn't grow, but the roots have grown. We're gonna put this directly in the garden. These are we have tomatoes and then we have black beans. So two of them are tomatoes and one is black bean. And they haven't, one of them is growing, but I'll see which one it is. Black beans and tomatoes are completely different. And then we have our lettuce here, our Monte Carlo brine, sweet Thai basil, our romaine didn't start. We have cilantro that hasn't started yet, and our little oregano. We're gonna leave the oregano in here and our onions. So while our lettuce is growing quickly, it is still kind of warm, and I haven't refreshed our green stalk yet, which is where most of these plants are going. Collard greens will be going in the front yard, so that's okay, but I'm going to try to do our green stalk really quickly. Is that the Thai basil gaining have some additional growing going on? Yes, it does. All right. So we are going to get our green stalk set up. So these plants have a little while to go in here. We'll let them grow in here for a little while. Let me see. The Monte Carlo shot up quick. See how the roots are looking. They are rooting. So see how the collard green is doing. Collard green doesn't have any long roots coming out. So, but our cucumber is ready to go. We'll give it another day and put it in the main section. And then that means we'll definitely be doing a green stalk refresh very soon. I wanted to wait until I painted the inside of my sunroom to do our refresh. Looks like we might have to do it quicker, sooner rather than later, because these plants are ready to go. But sometime this week we'll be getting to that. But let's get to our pickling and our drying. Let's get to our harvest. put you guys in the thing here. Now the place is a little messy. Let's get you guys. So this is where our lemon balm has been growing. If you've been following we have just recently come back from a 2-week holiday. And our garden was on vacation mode. This is where I'm going to be drying it. So I have some plants drying here already. They weren't on the windowsill. They were just drying in this room. It's a north-facing room. It's very cool and dry. This is a hibiscus plant, and we're going to be crushing it up and using it to make tea. So I'll show you when we get into the kitchen to do the rest of our drying. I'll show you how that's going to go. So these aren't fully dried yet. You can let it air dry like I've been doing with these, or you can have it dry in the oven, and that's a little quicker. But I'm just having them dry here. There's no rush. If I get thirsty and I want some tea, I'll just pick one up right here and put it in the water with some stevia and have some tea. So I have them dry here. I put it on some parchment paper just to keep stuff, and some paper towel for any additional moisture that might be coming out of the plant as it dries. I'm going to need 2 hands to harvest this one. As you can see, it has dried out a lot, and it's been drying out because it was on vacation mode. So we're going to harvest. For my clippers and noticed that they weren't there. I was like, oh, where are my clippers? And remember last night's video, we harvested the peppers. So let's get these going. So we're going to be harvesting a lemon balm. This lemon balm has some chives growing in there. So let's separate the chives out, because I'm going to be harvesting this lemon balm in one fierce swoop. We're not drying out our chives. We're going to be eating our chives. This is a humidifier that I'm not using right now. I use it in the winter. This is my humidifier here. And just add some humidity to the plants when it's very dry in the air. All right, so lemon balm is full. This one you can cut all the way down, but usually you want to leave a little bit of the plant still there. Wow, the smell, you could really smell this. This plant has been growing for a while. I'm looking for some shorter parts to leave on. I think I might just leave on this little section here and just grab this by the handful. So what people do sometimes, they hang it upside down, or you can just hang it. There are different ways to let it dry. You tie it in a bundle, tie a string around it, hang it upside down. But I'm going to just be grabbing it and putting it on the pan to dry. The reason why I'm not hanging it upside down, here, I'm opening it up a little bit. So this is it here. So it already started drying on the plant, and that is because it was on vacation mode. And so when the garden is on vacation mode, it gives the plants less water and less light. So if there's too many leaves, they can't support the less water and less light, they dry out, but it's okay because once you turn it back on, the plants usually start to come back. However, we are going to be harvesting this and using it for tea later on. So this also, I drink this with my tea. I just add it in and put some stevia in it. We have a couple of stevia plants growing here. One on this garden and one on the other garden and one outside. And so we just use that to drink. All right, so we have our lemon balm and our hibiscus, which we had drying for a little while, harvested. Okay, so let's make our way to the kitchen, where our kitchen is in kitchen not put together mode. I'm sure you guys see the kids stuff already out. You got the gloves, got the little step stool. So for it to dry, I'm going to leave it by our south facing windows in the corner. and it can dry. You leave it over the next few days. To speed up the drying, you put it on a very low heat in your oven, probably about 250, and you leave it in there for until it dries out. The next thing we're going to do is work on our peppers. So I'm going to leave this out to dry, and as it dries out, when we're finished drying it, I'm not drying it, which you have to come back for another video for that. We have these jars here. Put a label on them, open them up, crush up the leaves, put it in here, and then make tea with it. So this has an airtight seal, and this is where we make our tea. So that's how I store the dry herbs. Also, lemon balm is a very good flavor that you could also mix for seasoning different meats. So that is our lemon balm. Let me go put it where it's going to sit to dry. And then these are our peppers. So we have quite a few peppers. I'm not pickling all of them. We see this in our plant area. I'm going to be pickling the which ones? The hot peppers. So we're doing hot pepper pickling today. First things first, you get a nice pan here. We're going to be bringing this pan to a boil. So I'm going to do the measurement first. I'm going to move you guys over in a little while we separate the peppers and take out our jar. But we're going to add 1 part white wine vinegar and 2 parts water. So I'm using a measuring cup for this. However, you can use a regular cup and have the same measurements, which is what I'm going to do now. Oh, press the dishwasher by accident. You get yourself a cup. I'm just getting a regular size cup, and it's 1 part vinegar and 2 parts water. So whatever you use is going to be 1 these and then 2 waters. Let me remove these off the stove. The stove on high. Remove this one too. I'm going to move you guys over in a second so you see the measurement. So this is our vinegar. And we have 1. 2. 1 water. That's 1 vinegar, 1 water, and 1 more water. And we're going to bring this to a boil. Let me put it on the higher setting. And there we go. So we're going to be bringing that to a boil. And in the meantime, we are going to be we're going to be pickling our peppers. So we have our water boiling. You can add other seasonings if you like. Some people add salt. Some people add onions. Some people add garlic. You can add whatever you like to. Some people add flavored seasonings. Some people add quite a few things. The reason why I don't add sugar, that's the other thing. I don't add sugar to mine is because you don't need to add sugar. And so I'm going to avoid having added sugar and just not add sugar. But if it doesn't bother you or whatever the case is, you can add your sugar, whatever you would like to put into your pickles to give it a flavor that you would like. Thyme, for me, thyme would be nice, but my thyme is not in full growth area because my thyme, it was hot. And thyme doesn't thrive in the hottest of weather. So it's been like 90 degrees and up. And so my thyme is just coming back. It's regenerating itself and coming back. So I don't have extra time to put into my peppers. I'm going to pickle a few. I was going to pickle more. First step is to rinse them off. I'm trying to decide how many I should pickle and how many I should leave out. I did not harvest the peppers outside. I did one day, but there's still another plant with fresh pickles. So I wanted to make sure I had some to use fresh because I like to cook them with the rice. But knowing that I still have peppers, these are different type of peppers, and a tomato. Knowing that I still have peppers that are outside that still need to be harvested, I'm gonna do as much as I can. So first things first is you rinse it off. So you just rinse it off quickly, get any excess of anything off of the peppers. I like the flavor to stay in them. So I don't like cutting them up. I could kind of have an idea of how much pepper I'm actually using. So we just gave that a rinse. Next thing is you get your jars. So I have quite a few jars that I use. I was using jars to grow, to do my passive gardening and my passive hydroponics. I have quite a few jars. Well, I'm gonna have to pull y'all back so I can reach the cabinet. Excuse me. I can't reach the jars. Put y'all there. So let me get in here and get these jars out. All right, there we go. So we got our jars out. And then we got some covers, some lids. We got a lot of jars. Okay, so let's see. Make sure we have a cover because, you know, I'm just reusing. So I have a jar here, a tightly sealed cover, and there we go. So the next step is we still have our stuff. Let me mix it a little. We have our water, which is starting to come to a boil. Our water and vinegar, which is starting to come to a boil. And of course, you can put some herbs in there if you like. Definitely not putting any sugar in. But you can put garlic or onion. Let's start loading up our peppers. So one of the things with the peppers is I like to put them in whole, but they need to make sure that there's no air in there and that the water will get inside. So I just put like a couple holes in them and drop them in. Now you may see a lot of people slice them. You can slice them if you like to, but they are very hot peppers, and slicing right now, I don't want it in the air or anything, so I'm just gonna put a couple of holes. Also, I like the peppers hold when I take them back out. Just put a couple of holes in them, you drop it in. So we're just gonna go through that and just drop them in. Just make sure this is just for the air to come out and the stuff to soak in. And this should last throughout the season with this method in your refrigerator. I can smell our pickling mix being ready. I'm trying to decide if I want to put, there's an herb that I want to put in. I don't think so. I like the flavor of these peppers a lot. These are one of my favorite flavors. This one is habanero. Just the flavor that the pepper has itself, I like. So I don't like to do anything that will really change it. Unlike jalapenos, I slice. I put onions in my pickling sauce, and I also put some not oregano. What is the other one? The banana peppers, I put oregano in. Cilantro. So you kind of put whatever flavor you want to in there. All right, so our pot is boiling. Let's make sure they're. I like to put the little stems in there too. These are like little oranges. So you can just stick the holes in. Make sure they're able to get the vinegar to soak in. And I also like them fresh. But since I do continuous harvest, I usually have fresh peppers all the time that are growing and continuously harvesting. So I don't. These are for when I'm making certain things or seasoning certain foods. Then I would need the ones that are pickled. But I like to cook fresh ones in rice, and I like the flavor. I like the flavor of these more than anything. I like the flavor of these more than the spice. They're very spicy. One day I'm gonna figure out what peppers these are, because these are peppers I got from the grocery store, and at the grocery store they weren't marked. The grocery store did not say what type of peppers they were. I just bought them. They said hot peppers. I bought them and then I planted them, and I have several plants with these peppers in them there. And as I'm peppering, as they're growing and we get seeds, I take the seeds, I replant, and so on and so forth. So these are my favorite peppers, and I got them from the store, but I don't know what name they are. These are habanero, but they don't taste. I feel like if it was habanero, they would have said so. And these have a little different flavor. It's more citrusy. See, I can smell it getting very peppery. So there we go. We filled up our jar, and then we have our mixture. So again, as you stick me, we'll do different mixtures. Today is a plain water and vinegar mix to preserve the flavor. However, with peppers that they're not my favorite flavor in the world, such as the jalapeno ones. Then this is the hot water here that was boiling. So the ones that are my favorite flavor in the world, they are like jalapeno. Then I add a lot more seasoning into them, and banana peppers, since I like to put those in salads, I like to add some cilantro and other seasonings that I know will go well with the salad. But you can put salt and pepper in here. You can put quite a few things. So let's see my pouring skills. Pour it in. Oh yeah. So there we go. Simple and easy. As you see the little bubbles coming out, that's what putting the holes in them also does. It lets the air escape because there's lots of air that was in the peppers. Once you put the holes in them, the bubbles help them escape. I don't want to let it steam out too much because we don't want the heat. Not the heat. All right, it's hot because it's boiling water, but the heat, as far as the heat of the pepper flavor, to escape too much. So I'm gonna just let them go through. We're gonna make sure they're all covered. I think it should settle. Let me put a little drop more water because it is not covering the top peppers. It looked like the peppers raised higher. It raised up. There we go. Let's cover every pepper in there, unless because I don't want any issues. Make sure all the bubbles come out. So I'm just letting the bubbles, slowly relieve themselves. It is floating a little bit. So yeah, those are from the ones that have not been, the air hasn't escaped out of them. So that's the point of putting the holes in the peppers as we were doing, so that when I do add the water, when I add the mixture, it does escape. So these are our peppers. I'm letting as much bubbles come out of it as possible. Now, this is a step you do not have to do if you are slicing the peppers. If you're slicing the peppers, you just drop them right in. They're already sliced. They've already there's no air inside. They've already been opened up. Then you're slicing it. That's not an issue. However, when you're leaving them whole, you have to let the air escape a little bit. And of course, we don't want any issues with our lid. So I'm just letting the air escape. That should take about 2 to 3 minutes. And that's how we pickle our peppers. So today we did pickling our peppers for storage, and we dried out our lemon balm to make tea. I do have some more peppers. As I said, I like to eat my peppers fresh and cook with it fresh so I can get more flavor than heat. When you do it this way, you get a lot more heat and flavor. Yeah, heat and flavor. When I cook them on the stove without opening them, I get a lot of the flavor and a lot less of the heat. You can do the same method with any type of peppers, but stay tuned as I continue this method. I don't do it with sweet peppers because I like sweet peppers. I eat them in salads every day, so I don't store them. I also grow the sweet peppers inside year round, so I usually don't have to store them. And if I do store them, I store them in a seasoning mix, in which I'll show you how to make that mix. So I don't use this pickling method for them. Anyway, we got most of our bubbles out. This is pretty warm. Thank you very much for joining. Let's turn around. Thank you very much for joining. It's been Angeline and the team. And remember to stay green always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Visit our website at abgardening.com. And don't forget to join the cultivators at patreon.com. And I'll see you guys next time. Stay green always. Bye.